are you?
What is up, chocolatiers? Welcome back to another video. Talking about They Will Kill You, starring my little queen, Zazie Beetz. Let's just be honest. I just recorded my Forbidden Fruits review and I said, dude, this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest, ladies too, ladies and gentlemen, we had some baddies on the roster this weekend. I said, dude, I was like, they're speaking to me. Absolutely enthralled. I said, Zazie Beetz finally getting her little star moment, getting her little time to shine, and she's looking good doing it. Okay, so this film has been getting a lot of comparisons to Ready or Not, which I kind of hate when movies do that, because like they always act like you can't have like a similar premise. Like, we can fight devil cults, like that happens all the time in things. I will say this, I think it is starting to get a little odd that like every year there's like a weird month or two, or like we just have movies that are like the same, and it's always about the devil. Every time you have, like, so like for example, this month, right? You got that new Invincible episode that for some reason people are pissed off about. It's actually a pretty good episode, thank you. Okay, then you have They Will Kill You. Then you have Ready or Not 2, and there's probably something else I haven't watched yet that probably did it. And I was like, that's just a lot. Like within 2 weeks, that's just so weird. Like, did they plan that to get? I don't know. But anyways, that's odd. But They Will Kill You, like I said, starring Zazie Beetz. And basically, just setting up the plot for you. She is on the run with her little sister from their abusive father. And the abusive father, I guess, is with a friend. They really never say who that guy is. I'm assuming he's just a friend. And they're trying to get them. She pulls out a gun, shoots the father. He does not die. But she runs away, leaves the sister with him. And she gets arrested and goes to prison, which is where she learns to fight, as you see from this movie. And when she gets out of prison 10 years later, she goes to this big hotel called the Virgil. It made me think about Virgil from Devil May Cry. I was like, shout out to the GOATs, Dante and Virgil. And she goes here and she's going to be working as a maid. And turns out things aren't as they see, because she actually comes here on purpose because her little sister's working there and she wants to get her / save her. But she doesn't really know what she's saving her from. She's kind of thought, I guess, the next day, or maybe she'd be undercover a couple weeks or something like that. Some undercover ball stuff on Turk to her. She never realized that the first night she's going to be jumped by a devil cult trying to sacrifice her. And so then that's when we learn, like I said, that her character can fight. She's killing these dudes. It's really crazy. It's really funny. And it's very much, so I kept hearing Quentin Tarantino expired or you know, kind of like inspired and like, you know, violence wise, like that. It very heavily much is. Even the style and tone, some of the music they picked, this and that, I was like, okay, this is Kill Bill, but with devil cult people. But this movie does have a twist that I actually don't want to spoil. With a lot of the cult members, there's some cool things that they can do, and I was like, okay, I didn't know that was a thing. The trailers don't show you that, so I actually like the trailer skip that, so I'm not going to tell you here. But yes, this movie has some really great combat, has some really great fight scenes. The whole time I was sitting there thinking, I was like, hey, you don't mess with a black woman's corn. You know, she coming there for her family, she's fucking these people up. It's very, very fun, very inventive. Very much like I was complimenting Forbidden Fruits on. I love that movies like this can now age gracefully because they use practical effects instead of like really bad CGI blood that like in 10 years is going to look really bad, like even more bad. And they use a lot of practical effects. Like for example, a character gets their head cut off and it's like that goofy blood squirting bag, like the old school movies, very much homage, right? I saw somebody, God, it pissed me off. I saw somebody on TikTok. It's always on TikTok, isn't it, boys? I saw somebody on TikTok. I was just scrolling, which I shouldn't be doing. That's the whole problem. And they're talking about seeing the screen unseen, which I guess was this movie for Monday at AMC. And she talks about worst movie she's ever seen in her life, half star on Letterboxd. I click on Letterboxd because like she refused to tell anybody in the comment section what movie she watched. People were asking. People were like, what the freak? I saw it was They Will Kill You. And before I even saw it, like, removing all bias from it to the fact that I'm like, oh, I think Zazie Beetz is fine. I was like, I just feel like fight-wise, like even cinematography-wise, it's really hard to give a movie a half a star. That's really hard to do. And for her to be like, this is the worst movie ever, I was like, dude, there's no way. And I watched this and I was like, okay, it's got problems for me, which I'm going to get into for a second, but like half was like, I'm like, okay, little pretentious movie people out there. Dude, I'm telling you, bro, movie Twitter, they all suck. I'm telling you, like, why can't we just have fun, dude? Like, for example, you don't have things to Shakespeare or even, anything like 10 out of 10. Like, for example, you don't have to think it's like Hamlet from last year, which it's not. But this is fun. It's a fun movie. Even if you don't love it, it's a fun one-time watch at least, right? And so I feel like where the movie actually starts bogging me down a little bit is a lot of the back and forth. It's really fun seeing her do all these cool set pieces, like you select the one from the trailer, like where she splits the dude in half in the first trailer, and like that little ballroom fight area. I think the final boss kind of area, if you're thinking about a video game, because she is going up levels in this movie. The final boss area, the final things are going down. Patricia Arquette's performance, stuff like that, really hold this movie strong. Zazie Beetz is really strong in this movie. All that stuff is really cool. I think the plot and premise I actually didn't dislike. I don't think it's the strongest thing out there, but I think it's fine. But what really, really, really bogs it down, ironically, weirdly enough, and I get it's her reason for being there, I actually think it's kind of the sister storyline. I feel like it would have potentially worked better if it was like, hey, I just got out of prison, need a job, working as a maid. Turns out she's able to whoop ass. I just feel like every time she kept grabbing the sister, every time they kept having like this one-to-one thing, adding this like, tension and like whatever. I didn't dislike the sister. I actually love that actress. I can't think of her name right now, but she's an industry fantastic actress. And by the end of the movie, because of her, I did like the third act because it's the reason why it happens. But I just feel like a lot of the first and second act of her reason for being there, I was like, okay, whatever. Like I said, kind of came to the side of me liking it, but still was like one of those things like, I feel like we could have rewrote this, wrote her out, whatever. But that's just nitpick. I really feel like where the movie kind of boils down to a slight issue is that it's an hour and 43 minutes, right? But half of this is just her fighting people, but there's a lot of it where she's like running and hiding, running and hiding, running and hiding. And it feels like we're just kind of trying to get to the top floor to do a thing or whatever that the movie's leading up to. And so much of this, I feel like, we could have probably cut like at least 2 or 3 of these scenes or like something, whatever. It just kind of felt like it started kind of dragging a little bit. But outside of that, excellent opening act, excellent third act. Just because we got a mediocre second act does not mean this is a bad movie. I think this is a really good film. I think it's a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Zazie Beetz, absolute star. I need her to play in more things. I need her to be in more things for me. She is outside all jokes aside, she's an excellent actress, and I really think that she kicks a lot of ass this movie. There's a lot of really cool fight scenes I think will go down as like, oh shit, that was cool. I think the ballroom fight scene, for example, in particular is really cool. And even like the opening fight scene that you kind of see a lot of in the trailer, where she shoots at the dude's shotgun, dude flies better, which is very like by Miss Laura from like Django. So like it's very heavily inspired, and it knows that, and it wears it on its sleeve, and I appreciate that. I don't know why people are mad about that. Like right now, if you're writing a movie script, you're gonna have some inspirations. Like if you're writing like a cop movie, you might be like, man, like, let me think about True Detective. Like you don't have to, you're not going to copy it, clearly, but you're going to have some inspirations. And I really like this movie wears on the sleeve, where this movie's like, hey, here's some callbacks, here's some cool things, but we're doing our own thing, right? And I think this is a fun movie. I think it's definitely worth your time if you go see it in the theater. Very much like a Forbidden Fruit, so I don't think it's going to be for everybody. I don't think it's going to be a half a star, but I don't think it's going to be for everybody, though. I think some people are going to go into it thinking maybe, some things would have been done better here. Maybe the plot would have been a little bit more elaborate. The plot is kind of basic. But yeah, I think it's a decent time. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this movie if you've seen it. And with that, like, subscribe for more. I'll catch you guys on the next one.